This is the Yalak Emmet channel on Twitter, YouTube, Patreon, February 22nd, 2022. This lesson is titled, I Will Bring You Out. Sometimes doors are closed in our lives, and we just don't always know why. Some plans you made didn't quite work out. Some of the ones that did, you wish that they would just multiply themselves more, or the next thing you try would just work out just like that. But it seems like we're always reaching for something that sometimes doesn't move quite as well. And we admire those for whom plans are working out. Then there are relationships that ended even though you tried. Businesses or jobs or ministry position that failed was for strategy in your life to bring you to where you are supposed to be. You have to start looking at life in a different way, as if you are being guided, watched over. Now, if the Creator put you here on this earth and you see all that is in the world, you know this looks carefully done, very ordered. The trees come out of the ground and they take care of themselves. So some kind of knowledge is operating and intent that keeps the world going and thriving. In fact, even those who do great evils on the earth rely on knowing that the earth thrives. The earth is full of life, and there are certain things they can depend on, such as laws in the world, in the universe, and the nature of people, the way people think and live, and so on. They can depend on the structure of life on earth in order to pull off even their evil. This world is being managed, and today in our time we say it is God. We use the word God, and there are different words out there, and in ancient times they might have used other words as well. But we know it is being managed in some kind of way. Our people also are slowly returning to Africa. And even though with this great upset that has taken place in the past 2 or so years, that has slowed down that return, I want you to keep in mind that that's not even the main thrust of the return that is spoken of in the Bible when the Messiah says he's going to take you back to your land. It can't, because when they shut down borders and people stop returning, and they have special requirements that if you're going to come here, you need to do this first when you're trying to check in. So people stay away. You see, if it is the true time, like somebody gets up and they say, return to Africa, we need you back here, it's a better life, try to build your life over here, and so on. And some other people will say, things are kind of tough if you move there right now when people are looking for the best areas where it might be easier to start off again if they move there and so on. If anything stands in the way and prevents us, whether your own limitations, you don't have enough money to make that move right now, you can't leave your children behind, the law is shutting down borders and so on, anything that stands in the way of you getting out of this situation right now that we're caught in is showing you that this is not yet the time. Anything that stands in the way of you getting out of this situation right now that we're caught in is showing you that this is not yet the time. Now, it's not a problem for people to try or for someone to get up in Africa, some well-known person, and say, come back home, come back, come back. That's very good, actually. It is showing that there is more of a cry now for this to happen. So we're moving in that season when this stuff is coming. Like when you look at a mango tree and it starts to blossom and so on and bloom, and you see the very, very, very small, fine blossoms coming up, and you know that's a mango starting to grow, or a group of mangoes. And then you give it some more time, and it's looking, yeah, now that's a real mango. You're just waiting for it to ripe. So we're in that time now where things are starting to pick up slowly on a small level, just the blossoming coming. But we know something is down the road, not far ahead, like we got another 100 or 200 years to wait. So it is shaping up in our time. And it's just like the scripture says that the Most High is going to bring us back, return us to the land. That's why I'm telling you here today, that's what the scripture is talking about. I will bring you out. So it doesn't matter what's going on out there, what's going on in your personal life and so on, it is going to happen. The Most High is going to bring this change about, this deliverance that we seek so much. But when the real time comes, when the scripture is actually being fulfilled, that says he's going to return us, no one can pass laws to shut down anything that will prevent us. You not having enough money to buy a plane ticket to get to Africa will not stop you. You having all kinds of illnesses in your body, oh, I can't make that journey, and say, it's not going to stop you. I'm too far away. There's no airports where I'm at. How am I going to get? Nothing is going to stop you. He says he's going to get us all from the far ends of the earth. So the message is going to get to you even if there is no technology, because he's going to reach to you no matter where you are, what situation, even if you are locked up in prison, because the Bible does speak about that as well, that his people, a lot of them are locked up in prison houses. But when that time actually comes, so that's how you know now people saying, come back to Africa, come back to Africa. This is the time, this is the time. It might be the time, yes, in some kind of way, but not the full-blown time that is ripe. Because when that time comes, it cannot be prevented by any trickery or any situation that's going on in our lives. Because the Most High says in the scriptures, I will bring you out. Biblically speaking, we got in this position by what the Most High did. For the sins of the nation of Israel, God says, I will send you into captivity. I will bring hardship into your life. I will cause you to have low-paying jobs. If you read, like, Deuteronomy 28 and so on, putting in my words here. But the stranger that is among you will get up high. So you're going to struggle while others are doing well around you. In other words, I will disrupt your life. Everything that does not work right in your life, however, is still part of the strategy to bring you down or keep you down. Because biblically speaking, you are under a curse. Change for good or bad is handled by the Lord. So taught the ancients. Because in ancient times, Africans, they didn't have this idea of the devil doing something to you at first, at the start. That stuff came on later on. But there was and is no devil. The most ancient Africans knew there was a creator, and only he was responsible for all the good and the bad. Because it seems to me that they believed in one source, in one power, or in one force. But they will teach, however, that force is expressed in masculine and feminine energy or presence. That's why you would see them having the male and female gods. But they knew it was one force behind that. So the Most High is control of all things that take place in your life. So in those very ancient times, if something very bad happened to you, it was the Creator. And I think that's where some of the very strong religious teachings began to come about, because they're like, if you were doing this or that right, the Creator wouldn't have done that to you, because they're saying it's the Creator. If evil's coming on you, they're saying it's the Creator that brought that into your life. So then they started finding ways to please the Creator and to, but it was just one source or force or being, one God that was managing everything. So the control of all things, good and bad, happen in your life because the Creator is managing it. And He can be evil unto you, or like the Bible says in some places, He can be Satan unto you, or He can be good unto you. He can be God unto you, that good God that you know. So you got to watch now. Take a look at the different things that have gone on in your life. How did they come about? Why did they come about? Begin to search your life and look for wisdom in how you interpret those things to ensure that you are living in a way where more goodness can come into your life based on how the Creator made this world to be. So if good and bad is controlled, that means the Creator He's present. Or the Most High, He is present in your life. Even when it feels like you have been left alone, you have never really been. When the world is going berserk, you still have to trust in the Most High. Especially like in a time like now, what we're going through all over this world. And you have to keep in mind that there is still a shift that is happening. Fear may cause you to not see all of this change that's happening, but the change that's coming about is doing its sure work on the earth. And change from the Most High cannot be compromised. There is a change coming for us, no matter what you hear on the news, no matter what's going on, no matter what your president or prime minister is doing, no matter what the UN is doing, and they bring out armies everywhere and so on. Change is coming, and this is coming for them, for the wicked, in a bad way, and it's also coming for you, but it's coming with deliverance for you, in spite of. And so you cannot mistake change for fear. Just because you might feel a little bit fearful or worried sometimes because certain things are changing and we're being limited in certain ways, you still have to identify those things, and that you're feeling that and that you're seeing that going on all around. But you cannot misidentify change for fear or for defeat. You cannot name something unpleasant that's going on as defeat. Look at somebody who says, oh, I was at sea in my boat and the waters got rough and it's bouncing everywhere, water is splashing inside the boat. I'm trying to clear out the water in this little bucket I've got, and so on. And then they made it through. Then they're giving their testimony and they're like, God saved me. He was right there with me in that boat. But while He was with them, the boat was still rocking back and forth everywhere, being thrown everywhere, and massive fear was filling them while God was actually with them in the boat and saving them. Because according to them, God saved them. But while He was present and saving them, and He was in the boat with them, they say, they were still dealing with a lot of fear. And they were grabbing onto the side of the boat when it seemed like the boat was going to just turn over, just capsize. And they're like hurrying up in fear. We better throw out some of this water real fast. See, the fear was there, getting anxious and worried and so on, but still trying something. So just because of the presence of fear, that does not mean you should think God is not with you. So when you feel fearful and so on, just like the person had to do something, hold onto the boat, try to steady the boat, or push the other side when it's going over the other side, grab that little bucket and try to scoop up some water and throw it out. They're doing something to adjust the situation and to help them make it through. So it is that now when we are being pressured more and more, we have to do our best to find ways to make it through this time until a full and complete deliverance happens. But never think that the Lord is not with you. He is with all of us. And he says, just as I watched over you to make sure your captivity ran its course and all these evils happened to you, so I'm going to watch over you after I bring you back into your land to make sure that you thrive and good things happen and you are built up some more. So he's always with us in the good and the bad times. But if he's going to watch over us to make sure we thrive when we're delivered, that means what we are going through is not meant to take us out, to wipe out the nation completely. No. So all this massive death and slaughter that happened in slavery and so on in times past, that's not what we're looking forward to anymore. Now, if you're going to look forward to that, I mean, I can't stop you, but I'm not looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to salvation, to deliverance. That's why David said, I will look to the hills from whence cometh my help. So they're looking to the Lord. He wasn't looking to the Lord while expecting death. He wasn't looking to die. That's why he was looking to the hills or to the Lord, because in ancient times they looked to what they called high places that represented the power and intervention of God. So he says, I will look. Now, what's the highest place you have to look to today? It's inside you. It's something internal. It is the word that of hope that is on the inside. That's a high place. That's the highest place inside of you. Because if you think of it, when you are feeling fearful and you're wondering how you're going to pay your bills, how you're going to make it through and so on, that's a low place inside of you. You are ebbing. Your hope is going down low. So the high place inside must be the place where the word of hope stands strong. That's where you got to look. You got to look back at the word. He said he will deliver. He made a promise. That's what we got to look to. It's something on the inside that makes you say to yourself, I'm going to make it through this. Because through the scriptures, the Most High is saying, I will bring you out. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring you out. So when the time of your change arrives, nothing will be able to prevent it. Don't worry about all these different world leaders coming together, planning stuff. We know Psalm 83 already. They plan, they come together and so on. They can't stop anything. They've had their power. They've had their time. And so a lot of the strategies that you see going on now, and the war is building up even more, although the wars were always going on. But it seems like it's increasing now. The plans for war is increasing. It's because they know the time of our deliverance and their breaking is upon us. So they got to try some strategy to put themselves in a better position to face their destruction that's going to come. And should any of them survive, they want to still be all right so that they can regrow again. But they're not going to thrive because the Most High says, I will make a full end of all these nations that did all this wicked stuff to us. So they're not going to thrive after this. So it comes to a point where you have to quit crying so much over what you lost and what you still have to give up right now or walk away from. It is all still just strategy in your life to reposition you for what is to come. Even the breaking down of your life, the stopping of your job and the different things, it is still strategy to reposition you. Because you know some people aren't going to leave this place if they have the choice. But when you get broken down, then people will more be in line to say, you know what, I got to leave this place. This is the deliverance of the Lord working out right now. They said, come, let's gather and leave this place. So you're going to leave because you have been broken down. So even the demise of your life and your situations around you. It's all still strategy to move you. Doesn't feel pleasant, but who's going to feel like smiling when they're in a boat that looks like it might capsize? So everything is still taking place in your life and around you to reposition you. And think of it, these nations, they can't even focus on us the way they did to put us on transatlantic slavery. They can't focus and cooperate like that as much as they did before. Because they got to put a whole lot of attention and focus and money and so on and strategies into trying to fight another country and trying to stay afloat as well with their economies. So they have, in a sense, been robbed from any massive effort of coming after us. It's not going to happen the same way anymore. Not saying they might not try in certain kinds of small ways and whatever, but we know they're always wicked to us. But it's more that they are gearing up to come after Africa eventually. That's what the Torah teaches. That's why I've been telling you every now and then, the Isis Ra-El people, it's talking about Africa. The nation of Isis Ra-El is a hidden way in the scriptures. It's talking about Africa. When we go back there, then you're going to find Gog and Magog coming after us over there. You see how this thing is written in a trick kind of way in the scriptures? The final last battle that they can fight will be fought against Africa. That's when they're going to be fully destroyed. So now they'll get ready to fight against each other somewhat. And you hear Russia and China in the news a lot lately, and Ukraine and every other one of them, America and Turkey and so on, because they got to do some fighting against themselves. But the Isis Ra-El people, they are not the Israel in the Middle East. So when you see Gog Magog coming up in Ezekiel 38, 39 and so on, fighting Israel, and they're talking about Russia and Iran and so on, there are at least two approaches to the prophecy, and a lot of stuff in the scripture is written like that, with two. It's like a trick interpretation and then the real meaning. A trick meaning and a real meaning. Trick interpretation and a real interpretation, or a deceptive teaching and then the real teaching. So when they're gearing up to go after Israel, that is the more public, churchy, more widespread teaching to say that these countries are coming after Israel. But if you look closer at the scriptures and Gog of Magog coming after Israel, if you look closer, you will see that that will take place. But then there will be the real interpretation where Gog of Magog will go after Africa. So getting through all this, it just takes pure trust in the Most High. And some things that happen in your personal life, like individually for each of us, is just strategy in one life. As different things might take place, sometimes you'll get pressured in a certain way, cornered, and after a while the Most High will give you some relief in a certain area. So some things are strategy in your life, while other things that happen are part of the strategy for the whole nation of us that is scattered. So you got to size up certain things. And so for the part of it that's strategy for your life, you have to look at ways with wisdom and good proper habits and so on, even good eating habits and drinking clean water and so on, to help yourself move through all of this stuff much better. Because some things are personal, other things are for the nation that happened to us. So look at Jeremiah chapter 31 and verse 10. Hear the word of the Lord, O ye nations, and declare it in the isles afar off, and say, He that scattered Israel will gather him, and keep him as a shepherd doth his flock. So he says, he that scattered will gather. Because like I said, this is titled, I will bring you out. And that's a gathering. You watch some movie and somebody goes in to rescue some people in a building, and they ask, where's the other person? And they say, he's in that room, she's over there, she's locked in that room, and they try to break down the door to get the person out. And they gather them all together, and they're rushing to find the exit and so on, from whatever danger might be in the house. They're gathering to move out. That's what the Most High is saying. He's undoing the scattering in order to bring us out. Now, let's hear some more. So Isaiah 9 verse 2. The people that walked in darkness have seen a great light. They that dwell in the land of the shadow of death, upon them hath the light shined. Because he's bringing you out. Verse 4. For thou hast broken the yoke of his burden, and the staff of his shoulder, the rod of his oppressor, as in the day of Midian. 5. For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise, and garments rolled in blood, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. Verse 8. The Lord sent a word into Jacob, and it hath lighted upon Israel. That's the light of deliverance, or the brightness of joy and hope, because he intends to bring us out, and that's exactly what he says he is bringing us out. The final verse here, Psalm 105, and let's look at, I'll read verse 16 to 21. Moreover, he called for a famine upon the land. He brake the whole staff of bread. He sent a man before them, even Joseph, who was sold for a servant, whose feet they hurt with fetters. He was laid in iron, could not escape, could not get out, the same way we can't get out. It's a story about us. Until the time that his word came, the word of the Lord tried him. The king sent and loosed him, even the ruler of the people, and let him go free. He made him lord of his house and ruler of all his substance. It's a story about us. Because the word of the Lord tried him until the time that the deliverance was set to happen. The word tried him, or your captivity continued until that time. And then the official call came. The official call, like I might have said earlier, when the official call comes from Africa, bring this people back, right? So it says the king sent and loosed him, even the ruler of the people. So it's going to be a high word, someone with power that's going to do this and set the people free and become ruler over all this substance, meaning we're going to become the rulers of the earth once again. When your time of freedom comes, nothing can hold you any longer. The Most High says, I will set you free. So no matter what is happening on earth, change is of the Lord. Do not get so disturbed by anything that you lose trust. Make your best decisions, the clearest decisions that you can make. Come up with your own strategies, talk to people, do whatever. Because you know, in the end, you're going to win. And that's from a song I remember in the Christian church. I can't remember it fully. It says something like, don't fear, or don't faint. Something like that. Was when the battle is over, you're going to win. So you're going to come out the winner. That's how it's going to play out. Because the world can't go on like this. And when you study nature, things just are meant to rejuvenate itself. and bring things back to proper functioning. You're going to make it. We're going to make it.